Hey everybody, it's Jalen here with IG360, and today was Apple's September 1st, 2010 iPod event. This is pretty long waited for, a lot of new awesome stuff. I'm going to cover everything down to the last detail. Hopefully I'll do my best. So yeah, grab your cup, grab your straw, and let's do it. We're going to start with the iPod Shuffle. The iPod Shuffle, not too much to say with this one. They basically just took the old design of the old clip-on design with the physical buttons on it and basically went back to that. The case design looks just like the old one does, basically. Not too much to say here. From photos will probably popping up on the side just about now. It's 2 gigabytes in size. And the box that it comes in now is even smaller. If you thought it was small before, it is just enough to fit the iPod Shuffle in. It's like the exact design, very square. It's probably about that big. That's the box. Starts at $50, so $49.99 to be exact. Has a voiceover like it does last time. Yes, I'm reading this off the screen. Sorry, I didn't remember this all. Playlist supported, the rear clip is back like I said before, 15 hours of music, 5 different colors, and it comes in 2 gigabytes, so that should be just fine for just about everybody that needs an iPod Shuffle, which is just about usually people that are just running or working out and things like that. Yeah, so that's the iPod Shuffle. So next up is the iPod Nano. The iPod Nano is probably, to me, got the most interesting update out of all of the iPods today. The iPod Nano basically took just the screen, shortened it, and cut off the click wheel control. In the last episode of the podcast, I talked about the 3x3 centimeter touchscreen, and that's exactly what happened. So now the iPod Nano is just a 3x3 centimeter touchscreen, and yeah, it looks pretty cool. Exactly what is it running? It's pretty much running a iOS-esque, if that made any sense, interface. It has 4 icons per page, and there are multiple home screens. On each page, there are your music. You have your music right there. You have your photos. You have a few other things. Not too sure exactly. Again, I'm just recording this. The keynote just ended actually, but yeah, you can go through multiple pages. I believe it comes set with about 3 or 4. As you go into each category, it opens up more icons to go into a subcategory. The rotatable home screen. I don't think there's a gyroscope or a accelerometer in it, so you can rotate the home screen by a pinch gesture, by basically just throwing the screen around with just your finger. I guess this would be used. Well, kind of don't know what that would be used for, since it is 3x3. It's completely even, so even if you were to turn it, it wouldn't really make too much of a difference, I guess. But sorry, my dog's making noise. If you see the commercial, I saw it when it was playing on the keynote. You can see what I'm talking about. I believe it's flipped around for like scrolling through songs and stuff. But yeah, the same pricing is there and same colors as the current Shuffle. But they did bring in 2 new ones, which is graphite and the red version. So those are 2 exclusive ones for the iPod Nano. Again, same pricing as the current one, which is $149.99, $150 for 8 gigabytes, $179.99 for 16 gigabytes, $180. So that's the iPod Nano, completely touchscreen now. No camera, so the camera was removed, which is expected. And no Wi-Fi, which I wasn't really expecting. I just kind of thought it'd be cool. But yeah, I'm sure that people will try and jailbreak this to have little tiny apps run on it and stuff. But we'll see. It is an iOS-like interface, that's for sure. So next up is the iPod Touch. The the iPod Touch has really received most of the rumors we were expecting. This, out of all of the iPods has probably received the best updates, I think. Uh, the Retina display has been transferred over to the iPod Touch, so now the iPhone 4 and the iPod Touch 4th generation now have the Retina display. Now the iPad, iPhone 4, and iPod Touch 4 have the Apple A4 chip, a lot of 4s. So yeah, not all touchscreen devices, but you know what I mean. And it now has the 3-axis gyroscope. FaceTime is now brought to it, so it now has a front-facing camera. It's positioned differently than the iPhone 4's. Instead of off to the right, it's in the dead center, which makes sense since there's no speaker piece in the way. And there's also a back camera, so rumors were true, there's 2 cameras and not just one. So there's an HD camera on the back now. So you have one on the front for FaceTime and one on the back for just normal recording in HD. So that should be pretty cool. So FaceTime is available for iPhone to iPod Touch users and vice versa, and you know what I mean. So and iMovie is also coming, or will be available too. So you will be able to shoot and edit straight on your device, just like the iPhone 4. So yeah, that's basically iPod Touch. Pricing goes for 3 models. The price was raised from the $199 price point. I was a little surprised. It went up from $199 to $229.99 for 8 gigabytes. 32 gigabytes is $299.99, $300, and 64 gigabytes is $400. So yeah, again, a price raise, but still kind of expected for somewhat. So next up is iTunes 10. They basically ditched the old icon of the iTunes, the music, I forgot what it's called, the 8th note or something like that, in front of the CD. Basically, they just took the note and put it in front of a blue circle icon. So new iTunes icon, no longer CDs, and CDs are basically outdated now. And it looks pretty nice. I'm not too much of a fan of it. It looks almost too simple for me, but that's just my opinion. But now there's totally new features for iTunes 10. So now there's this new social networking type integration with it. It's a kind of a long story. I won't go too in depth, but a lot of being able to see your history of what you viewed, and just a lot of different social networking things. Ping is what it's called. It's basically available on iTunes, iPhone, and iPod Touch on all the iTunes stores. New button in the iTunes Store app. So yeah, I won't go too in depth on iTunes 10 again. Nothing too big, but yeah, you can follow people now. You can customize things, and yeah, next. So next up is the Apple TV. This is probably the most anticipated, device of today's event. And Steve Jobs basically saved this for last. So as everybody was expecting, the Apple TV did get not only a price drop, but a size drop. So it went from a device probably around that big to something that could easily fit in your palm. So just about the size of my palm. It is now black instead of silver. The same Apple TV logo is on top, but it is, again, a lot smaller. The OS is still the same. It's kind of surprising. A lot of people are expecting some type of iOS to be put on it, or a modified version, but the OS is pretty much the same. Looks a little different, a little more simplified, but nothing huge, that's for sure. But basically, everything is just sort of the same. Again, the hardware redesign is basically the newest thing. As far as features go, rent first HD movies for $4.99. Price drops over time, so eventually we will see a price drop in that. HD TV show rentals for 99 cents, commercials free. So I think that's going to be huge. Now you can rent TV shows, which I think a lot of people wanted. If you just want to watch one episode, which I actually probably use this feature because there's a lot of times where I just want to watch the episode once, if I missed it. Um, Netflix streaming is now available. That's going to be pretty big. I think a lot of people wanted that, even more than the TV show rentals. So besides that, there's a few more smaller things that were announced. I'll go through that in a second here. But as far as Apple TV goes, you can still stream stuff from YouTube, videos and photos from your mobile me account, Flickr, and that's basically it. But Netflix and the TV show rental sound like the two biggest new features since Netflix was pretty popular, or a popular request. Now going on to the smaller announcements, something that I thought was pretty cool was iOS 4.2. With that, there's a lot of cool new features. I shouldn't say a lot, but there's a couple cool features. One of which is called AirPlay. You can stream content from an iOS device to an Apple TV. So they did a demo of Up from an iPad to an Apple TV. So I thought that was pretty cool. So if you have, a movie on your iPad or your iPhone or your iPod Touch, you can just easily stream it to your new Apple TV. I believe, not too sure, that it can be streamed. You can stream media like, I believe it's movies, photos, and music from your Mac straight to your iOS device. So not just in the iPad, but all iOS 4.2 devices. So I thought that was pretty cool. Also, printing is now available on the iPad. So now I think that was a huge request from the iPad. There's a lot of people, not a lot of people, but a lot of common or just normal consumers, I guess, average consumers, were trying to print from their iPad but couldn't really find a way to do so. You have to go through a third-party app. But now printing is available, completely wireless. So that could be interesting. So as far as all the main announcements, that was all the main announcements. And the next episode of the podcast, which is episode 12, which I will record next Monday, I'll go in depth on I'll recover everything I just said in this video here, and then I'll probably go even more in depth, so that'll probably be a pretty long episode. So thanks for watching, everybody. We did have a small Twitter feed going. I kind of got the timing wrong, but I was there about 10 minutes late, but I was in class, so it wasn't easy to do. But I was able to watch the stream from my iPhone in class, so I thought that was pretty cool. And tweet at the same time. So anyway, there was no really reason to make a live stream. I couldn't even if I wanted to, because it was on Apple's website for once, completely live from there. So thanks for watching. I hope this helps people, to inform them if you haven't already heard about the news. Subscribe, rate, thumbs up, and stay frosty. Oh yeah, and don't forget to like the video, because that always helps. Peace.